Hello and what is up guys, Rye here and welcome back to some more automation and BeamNG.drive. Today we're building a very special car. This is going to be a hyper luxury GT vehicle competing against the likes of Aston Martin. We have Bentley, we have any kind of sporty coupe. It could be front engine, it could be mid engine. I guess McLaren GT kind of counts as a GT car. Why not? So we're making a very luxurious, very fast, probably kind of heavy GT car. We're going to need partial aluminum for the panel material at first, then monocoque chassis. And I'm thinking here, we can either do HS steel or glued aluminum, but I think we'll just do HS steel to start off. And of course, front mounted longitudinal engine, because what else would you do? And then we'll go double wishbone and multi-link. Hopping into a new engine here, it's got to be a V8. Okay, now the question is, do we want a twin turbo V8 or do we want a NA V8? We can go for a V10 to or a V12. The Lexus LC GT car, GT Coupe, whatever you want to call it, that's got a naturally aspirated V8 engine. Now, do we want to have another naturally aspirated engine? This is a 2020 car. You know what? Maybe we'll have twin turbo. It is looking into the future, so or it can even go V6 maybe. But I think a twin turbo V8 is just what you gotta do. We'll go for a 5-valve, something special. You know, it's gotta have some unique features about it. And 5-valve sounds like a pretty fine. I think we'll go for a 4.7 liter V8. Now, Aston Martin used to use, I think it was an NA 4.7 V8. And we're using the Aston Martin body, so might as well stick with that traditional engine size. We're not gonna, we won't design this car like an Aston though, but we'll take the engine size, because why not? We'll just do cast for now, probably even light forged, because we'll probably end up needing a bit of revs. Not too much though, just right. We'll leave that stock, and then just go for a performance tune, and then crank up the boost just a bit. I'm shooting for around 500, 600 horsepower maybe. This thing is going to be probably in the $250,000 mark. And then we'll go direct injection. We'll keep it on standard intake. This car's got to be a little bit quiet. It's going to be, you know, it's still going to be a V8, so it's going to be loud still, but, you know, just a little bit quiet. And we'll just go for a pretty restricted muffler system to keep with that quiet theme. We're going to, well, the exhaust size is going to be quite large. 4-inch exhaust, quite a large exhaust right off the hop here. And we'll increase the revs as well. I think we're up to what, a 7,000 RPM. Yeah, that sounds fine. Okay, 7,000 RPM. So right off the bat here, 454 horsepower and 495 torque. That's not bad numbers. We still have a bit of octane left, and we can actually increase our fuel mixture as well. And we can actually increase our cam profile as well, just a little bit more. We're making peak power pretty close to peak RPM though. It's a little bit close though. We can up the compression just a bit, then we can spend the rest, I think, on ignition timing and see where that gets us just a little bit. The 485 horse and 525 torque is honestly not bad to start off. That's like similar to Mercedes-Benz AMG GT numbers. That's a bit better than actually. There we go. 498 horsepower. We can probably just go for bigger exhaust instead. Nope, bypass valves it is. Okay, so we have that to start off. Wait, bypass valves. There we go. We will amp up the ignition timing just a little bit more. I did use this body actually, or the smaller variant of this car a few days back, or last week I think is what it was. Or 2 weeks ago probably, for a sports car with Canadian steel. This is definitely going to be a different animal altogether. We'll increase the AR ratio just a bit. This is not going to be a crazy engine, but it's going to be a pretty nice engine, I think. It's going to be nice and smooth, hopefully. Throttle response is at 60. The engine is only 61 smoothness. So it's not the smoothest engine possible, but it is what it is. We're going to have let's get us 510, please. Okay, 510 horsepower. And 540 torque is good to start. We could go for more after, but I think we'll start off with that. And I want this thing to be a hardtop convertible kind of, or a soft top convertible. But the coupe just looks so much cleaner. And we'll stick with the coupe for now. I might change my mind later though. Rear-wheel drive, and again, I might change my mind later. I'll make it all-wheel drive if it's not getting the performance I want. I'm hoping we can get this thing 0 to 60 in the low mid 3 seconds with rear-wheel drive. I'm not sure if we can do it, but we will sure as heck try. And sports compound it is. This is an expensive car. It's got to have some nice tires on it. And a bit higher there with the front tire width. Let's make the car just a little, not that thick. A little bit thicker. So 335s, which is a quite large tire. And a little bit larger in the front, even 285s and 315s. That seems like a pretty fairly good setup, I think. We'll go for alloy wheels. That sounds reasonable. And then 4 6-piston vented discs and 4-piston vented discs. I might change the size after. This is just sort of the starting point. And it'll be a 2+2 GT car. Or 2+2 GT car sounds fine. And we'll go for luxury and luxury. Or we want a heads-up display. Yeah, we need a heads-up display because what else do you need there? And we'll go for just the best everything there. And active comfort. And I'm going to tune it for sportiness, but it's a comfort vehicle through and through. So right now, even the high weight, 4,600 pounds or 4,500 pounds, which is kind of heavy, but honestly, it's similar to like what you'd have with an Aston Martin, etc. And we'll gear that top speed just a bit higher. 360 kilometers an hour is our top speed. Yeah, 0 to 60 is not hitting the numbers I want. Even with all-wheel drive, we're not hitting it. But 22 mpg is not bad so far. But you make the gearing shorter even. No, we're not getting much. We're not getting under 4 seconds with what we have right now. Okay, so I think we need more horsepower a bit, and maybe even wider tires. There's a little bit of wheel spin, which is definitely hurting our 0 to 60. We could probably go a bit wider, a little wider in the rear. This is hopefully going to be a rear-wheel drive car, so 4.1 still is what we're getting. It's not the best. Okay, so I think we need a bit more power. So we're going to put the fuel mixture just a bit, because we're still getting okay economy. And then we will just amp up a little bit of ignition, or cam profile, sorry. Just a bit. And then we'll go a little bit more boost. So boost comes on, you know, at 3,200 RPM. That's not that bad. It's a little bit on the higher side, but that's okay. And we can actually use a lot more boost here. 20 pounds of boost. Oh wow, that's a lot. 20 pounds of boost sounds fine. Then we'll just do the rest on ignition timing, I think is what we'll do. Losing power though. We cannot actually make over 580. Come on. Come on. 583. And we'll do a little more boost, I guess. 585 horsepower and 660 pound-feet of torque. Sounds like a lot. It is a lot. But I think that's pretty reasonable for an expensive vehicle. It's got to be good at something. There we go. There's the high 3-second range. We can get lower. It's got to be all-wheel drive, I guess. 3.3 seconds, 0 to 60. That sounds pretty reasonable. Definitely similar to an Aston Martin. We are kind of heavy, though. Again, similar to an Aston Martin. Quite wide tires. We can go a little smaller on the rims. Go 14-inch and 12. We'll go 13 and 12. 13 inches and 12 inches sounds like a pretty fine size for the wheels. And we are tuned again on sport. So 13 mpg, a pretty bad mpg now, but this is an expensive car, or it's going to be anyways. Like right now, it's only costing us 75 grand. So it's definitely cheap for the performance right now. If we increase the aero just a bit to help us with that top speed, because that's kind of important. We can actually go, I think usually plus 15 is okay for aero. Yeah, that only does $20,000. Here's 63.3 seconds, and it's just some money in the gearbox and some money in the tires. So there's 148,000. We're at 3.2 seconds. There's 300,000. Okay, yeah, we're definitely past that mark now. Let's go for plus 6, 170,000. 170,000 still. 180,000. I think we're on HS steel, so we'll keep it there. It looks like it's going to be fine. The weight is not that bad, honestly. It's less than what I thought. It's less than what for a very luxurious boy. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, and the tires are being actually pretty cheap. 260,000. That sounds like right on the money. 0 to 60, and we can't get 3 seconds even, but 3.1 seconds is probably pretty quick. Even rear-wheel drive, it's 3.7 seconds with 80 spacing. Let's see what an Aston Martin is. So 2020 V8 Vantage as an example. A 2020 V8 Vantage 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. That's got a 4-liter V8 with I think less horsepower than us, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. It's got a 503 horsepower V8. Yeah, we've got a bit more. It's got to be all-wheel drive to not be totally disappointing, which is okay. We'll have that. We'll go for 70-30 split here. So 4,600 pounds, 15 mpg, high safety. Quite high prestige. Not the highest prestige, not going to lie, but it's not bad. I think the basics are pretty much... Let's make it a little wider in the front even more. A little more wider in the front. So 305s and 345s. 3.1 seconds, 0 to 60. I think the basics of the car is done. We're going to make the tires a little bit cheaper even. Okay, so I think the basics is done. So what we're going to do is design this car, and I want this thing to look very expensive, quite futuristic, I think is what we're going to go for the design. I'm not going to copy Aston Martin, but it's going to, of course, the front end's the same. And I'm not going to copy my other car from a while back, from last week or the week before. But if you want to check the car out, feel free to check it out. I'll have a link somewhere down in the description. What we're going to do now is we're going to design the car, then we're going to check it out in BeamNG.drive. So I have a quick 2-minute time-lapse design of the car. Sit back, relax, guys, and I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so we're going to start designing our 2020 luxury or hyper luxury GT car, basically of course an Aston Martin competitor. First things first, obviously, like I always do, is the headlights, and I do spend a heck of a long time on them, just getting a sort of a basic layout of maybe what I want, then I place down a giant grille, and start working on just some bars here just to see if I sort of like how this is going. I end up going back and deleting those headlights and redoing them from scratch. Basically, I'm doing like almost like a Genesis style grille, basically copying Genesis on the grille front, but making it even more bigger, even more large, even more extreme. Basically a luxury or hyper luxury Genesis vehicle with some Bentley-esque front headlights. This whole build took me about 2.5 hours, so a heck of a long time. I did build the whole thing, or pretty much the whole thing, in Discord. So if you guys actually want to come watch me do builds, you can join the Discord, links in the video description. But yeah, back to the car. So I do add some Bentley-esque headlights with some cross hatch going over everything. The front grille, the bottom fascia, the headlights, everything is got it. That's the design feature going out through the entire car. Then basically playing around with what I want the emblem of the car to be. I end up having a sort of 4-tier pyramid shape. And I think I like it. It flows pretty well with the body. Just playing around with some colors and things like that. And then figuring out what I want to do for the front and the hood after the game crashed several times, obviously. Basically, the back end, I do start off with a 2-piece back or 2-piece taillight system, similar to the Ford Mustang, but then I decided, wait, you know, I don't want to copy the Mustang, so I end up doing a similar design to the Mustang, but instead of having just like bars, there's the cross-hatch theme going throughout it, and then there's a disconnected smaller beam. It looks similar to a Mustang, but not the same. I don't want to copy Mustang's thunder, and obviously that wouldn't look good for a very expensive GT car, so I don't do that. Having some big square exhaust cutouts and then adding a rear diffuser, pretty basic thing, nothing too fancy. I think I do end up adding a bit more cross thatch here and there as well, just add a bit more detail. I think I added it in the bottom, maybe, I'm not too sure. Working on how I'm going to have the back logo out, just some details here and there, adding some bars across the back, and then there's a cross hatch down below. I haven't decided the name, but I'm starting to think of what the name is going to be now, adding a quick side vent, then a couple things tweaked here and there, and finally I have the name, the Ozzagavio GT. So yeah, in front of us is the 2020 Ozzagavio GT. Alright guys, so the Ozzagavio GT is complete in front of us. Yeah, that is the name. I'm not sure if it means anything. I just completely made it up from scratch. I'm not sure. This is a completely new brand. Definitely took some design language from a few things. It's of course an Aston Martin body, but I didn't want to make it look like an Aston Martin. So I stole a grille off Lexus. I stole the headlight shape from Bentley basically, but I did my own thing with it, so it is original. I think it actually looks pretty good. It's actually, it's a very detailed build. I especially like these, what is this, daytime run lights, like a extra light down here, I'm not too sure, but it looks kind of cool. So starting with the front, yeah, we have Bentley style headlights. You can see the cross thatch kind of pattern throughout the entirety of all the grills and stuff. I liked it a lot. Basically with a massive logo in the center there, and that's the company's logo. I'm not too sure what it is yet. Might be a little bit too big, but I do like it. Sort of a body line going all the way through there with some vents. One single wiper. There is no Ozzagavio badge anywhere because no one could pronounce it anyway, so might as well have no badge. We've got a simple vent on the side there with the door handle. The side is it's a little barren, I'll admit, but lots of these cars are just pretty empty, I'd say. And we need bigger brakes, actually. We need the bigger brakes because they're only, just for looks even though they're not really functional. We'll put a little bit less on the pad type. This is not a high-performance GT, just a regular GT car. So yeah, the side profile, we've got a simple door handle, a mirror, some pretty aggressive looking wheels, and then the brakes are quite large as well. The back end, I like it. I'm not sure if it fits 100% in with the design. So we've got a triple taillight setup similar to the front, but laid out just a bit differently. So we got two big ones and a small one. Got the emblem back there, and the sort of flows sort of down so we can have space for the emblem with some more lines going through it and some crosshatch through the lights. And the bottom's got more crosshatch, crosshatch, I'm not too sure. Which two big chrome exhaust tips basically, and we have a diffuser that looks kind of weird from the side, but from the back, it looks good. And there's no wing on it. We didn't need a wing, I don't think. Like we've got pretty good on the understeer, I feel like, and it's just pretty understeer overall. Hopefully it's gonna handle good. I'm not too sure. I didn't tune the suspension too much really at all, but the top speed is 400 kilometers an hour, so it's incredibly fast. This is faster than any GT car pretty much ever. So all that's left to do is jump into BeamNG.drive and I guess see how this thing drives. Alright guys, so we're here in BeamNG.drive. This is the Ozzagavio GT luxury grand touring vehicle. Of course, it transferred over great into BeamNG. Let's not waste any time. We're in the automation test track, full racetrack circuit. We're going to do a lap, see what this thing can do. Then after that, we're going to go for a top speed run to see what this baby can do, so make sure to not miss that as well. And right off the bat here, it is very, very grippy. No wheel spin, literally no wheel spin at all. Take it nice and slow. We're not going to push it too hard. I mean, we're at 130 kilometers an hour and holding. Okay, 130 and starting to go off, but I did a test run and we got to 140 without falling off, but that was just a bad turn. It's a bit harder to drive with my setup like this. I do apologize if the audio is a bit off for this part. It should be fine, but it might be off. Okay, the brakes, not that great. We were turning and they sort of slipped out from us. That's okay though, we're fine. Not the best driver here, obviously, and my setup now is kind of weird, my actual real-life setup, because my microphone is plugged in, or my headset is plugged into my microphone, because my computer's audio drivers built into the computer have just not decided to want to play games with me, so it's fine, it's great. In the sort of long stretch on the automation test track, we're going quite fast, 230, 240, 250 kilometers an hour. Can we hit 260? 260, we're going to slow down just a bit. We'll hold it at 250 and turn in, and we're maintaining 250, no problem there. Down to 240 though. Brakes are nice and cool still. We're going to brake a little bit early because I think the brakes, yeah, they're good, but they're not that good. The front does sort of let go once you get to a certain point. But man, oh man, this thing is like a freight train, just keeps pulling and pulling. 1.4 bars of boost. We're going to brake a little bit early again. The brakes do overheat. The front brakes are getting a little bit spicy. I did tone them down just a bit and put it to a bit of a softer pad type instead of having like the normal. It's obviously not the best for that, but I think a slightly bigger brakes probably would have been nice. I think we downsized them just a little bit over max size because we didn't want to make them too humongous, but definitely it's needed, I think, for this car. Especially in the track. We're fine though, we just scratched the side, it's okay. That'll buffer right out. It's only a $250,000 car. And we're coming up on one of the last turns here, just braking a little bit, coming into it, braking a bit more, and then turning in. And the back end slides out just a bit. And we're going to brake again. And down to second. I mean, not a great time, obviously, a pretty bad time. This car is not, it's not the best handling car. It's pretty neutral handling. It's not sporty handling though, you know. It doesn't quite drive the way a supercar drives. Obviously, not a great time, but that's okay. 210, a fun car to drive, lots of power, and lots of grip on those turns. But besides that, like, you know, the braking definitely was not there. We're gonna jump right in and just see what kind of top speed this beast can achieve. I'll see you guys in just one sec. Alright guys, so we're here. This is just the open, plain, pure map in BeamNG.drive. We're going to see what kind of top speed this thing can achieve. Now, I did a highway run in the West Coast USA map just to sort of check. And we achieved around, in that 30-second or so time, we got about 305 kilometers an hour. So I'm sure we can beat that, but it just, you know, matters on how much we can be able to buy. Now, obviously the top speed of this car is around 400 or so kilometers an hour in the high, 250, 260 miles an hour for you Americans there. Very, very high top speed. I'm just going to see how high we can go before we wipe out. I'm not going to make tons of edits and stuff to make sure we get a perfect run. We'll make one run only and we'll see what this thing can do. This is the first run only. We're in 6. So much grip. My supercar actually, when you shift it into, you know, the 6th or 7th gear, it definitely didn't like that, going over 300 whatever kilometers an hour. So far, 330 kilometers an hour, going dead straight. Car is not moving, car is not wafting at all. It is a bit of a heavier car. But I don't know if 350 kilometers an hour, that'd be great. 345 is what we're hitting right now. That's a pretty good top speed. I think we're going to be stuck at 345 around there. Yeah, it looks like 345 is our actual top airspeed. That's okay, though. I'll take a 345 kilometers an hour. That is a pretty fine airspeed. So I guess we're going to end the video off here. This car was a lot of fun. I'm going to make this car available to download. There's going to be a link in the description if you guys want to play around with the Ozzagavio GT. I want to make another car with just a similar front end at some point to this thing. I love the front end. Definitely a lot of fun to make. If you guys want to join the Discord to, you know, watch me build this car, I actually built almost this entire car in Discord, so join the Discord, link in the description, and you can watch me when I'm just streaming in Discord there. If you guys like the video, leave a like down below. I do apologize if the audio in this part is just a bit weirder, because I have literally my headphones plugged into my microphone, because my computer's audio jack is not working at all. So we achieved 214 or so miles an hour, which is pretty good. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.